Welcome back. Today we are traveling to Buckingham Palace and we're watching and reacting to the video 20 Secrets Buckingham Palace is Hiding from Strangers. So that will be interesting, one, how they worded it, from strangers. But what they do have in there that we may have never known, what secrets they have, what's it all about. I mean, I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, hush-hush or something of what it is like. And I don't even know, can you do tours of Buckingham Palace? Like the White House, you could do that. So a lot to learn. I feel like you can, maybe, or it's new. Let me know. I don't know, but I would love to go in there. So let's jump in. Let's see what secrets they have. 20 secrets to be exact, and let's learn together.
Ever dreamed about living in a palace, like Buckingham Palace, for example? Well, it's a nice place, so why not? This ostentatious home is pretty old and huge, but the location is close to schools and shopping. And besides that, it's got a lot of interesting secrets. When you learn about them, you'll get a glimpse of what it's like to live there. So, counting down from number 20, whopping number of rooms.
I can only
Whopping,
imagine.
as it's used here, means boatload, overabundance, and of course, glut. We all know that Buckingham Palace is huge,
Look at
but
that.
just to
Look
help
at that. I love these Google Earth or these satellite images. So the front, it looks like, is on the south side of the bottom portion of this screen. Yeah, because there's the gates. I was there just 2 years ago, and we pretty much stopped by Buckingham Palace almost every day on our destinations, on our little excursions outside of our Airbnb. It's a good place just to like go and chill or wait for people.
help you comprehend its size, get ready for this information.
beauty.
It has 775 rooms. This number includes over 200 bedrooms. Honestly, I can't even imagine so many rooms in one building. At least now I understand why they need so much cleaning staff. But I can't help but wonder how everyone who lives there doesn't get lost. Is there some sort of map that helps them navigate around? Ooh, that's a question. Number 19. No waiting in line. Well, since Buckingham Palace has so many rooms, obviously there should be a lot of bathrooms, right? Yes, it has 78 bathrooms. Way too many toilets to clean. On the bright side, and we are, if there's any kind of royal function, none of the guests have to wait in line no matter how large the event is. Number 18. ATM in the basement. You know, sometimes you need to get cash fast.
Why?
So you go to the bank or start looking for an ATM. But if you're a member of the royal family, you can forget about all that hassle.
That's true.
All you have to do is go to the basement of Buckingham Palace because there's an ATM right there. How convenient.
Yeah.
Number 17.
I guess it would be weird if you saw the royal at your, local bank at the ATM getting some money
Moving chandeliers. In the time before electricity, it was a real challenge for the staff of Buckingham Palace to clean all the huge chandeliers. They had to teeter on ladders trying to reach them. But now everything is much easier. Thanks to technology, chandeliers can be lowered to a manageable level simply by pressing a button on the remote control.
That is pretty cool, though. That
16.
is very convenient.
A fully equipped doctor's office. In case of any medical emergency, the members of the royal family usually go to a hospital where they're treated by the best doctors in the country. But if there's a situation that prevents them from doing
I would be curious to see, because like the best doctors in general get paid absolute bank. So imagine, I wonder how much the doctors compared to normal jobs there get paid in Buckingham Palace. Is it more, or is it kind of like the same, but it's just like kind of their duty, they say? I don't know. Just
doing
thought.
so, they don't have to worry because they can receive treatment without leaving the palace. The doctor's office located there is even equipped for surgical procedures.
It's a city.
15.
It's a city in
the
there.
largest private garden in London. Imagine 30 football fields, and you'll get the idea about the size of the palace garden that stretches for 39 acres.
Wow.
So, in this football analogy, that makes the palace into the luxury boxes overlooking the 30 football fields. Oh, never mind. The garden is divided into 3 main parts. Harrison's, which includes the massive lawn, a rose garden where you can find a famous 15-foot Waterloo vase or vase, and see 25 varieties of England's national flower, and the yard, which is a less manicured area. Number 14. Secret River.
I like it.
Ooh. The River Tyburn flows under the south wing of the palace, revealing the fact that the building was set up on swampland. Of course, it doesn't mean that part of the palace is floating on water, but a river runs through it, or at least underneath it, adding to the uniqueness of the royal residence.
Weird.
Number 13. Post Office.
Did not know that.
You probably already have the idea that Buckingham Palace isn't simply a building, but more like a mini town, since the royalty can get pretty much any service there. And yes, that includes the mail. Since the Queen is the Queen, using a regular post office isn't an option for her. That's why her palace has its own post office. Pretty cool. Speaking of mailing, number 12, zip code. Usually zip codes are assigned to specific neighborhoods, but when it comes to Buckingham Palace, everything seems to be an exception. This truly massive place has its own zip code. If you ever feel like writing a letter to the Queen, or maybe sending her some cute gift, here it is. SW1A 1AA. Just don't address it to Liz. Number 11. Spooky Neighbor. It seems like any building that's really old has to have a ghost or two. The same goes for the palace. The site where the royal residence is located now was once occupied by a monastery, and some believe that's the reason why the place is haunted by the ghost of a monk who used to live in that monastery. Do you think it might be true? Sound off in the comments.
I mean, the fact that a monastery used to be there, I'd wonder how the history behind even getting rid of that monastery to build this. I wonder how that went.
Number 10.
They're royal. They probably just did it.
Labyrinth of Secret Tunnels.
Interesting, though.
Some used to say that there's a secret tunnel that connects Buckingham Palace and London Tube. It's just a rumor, but the royal residence does have tunnels. There's a whole underground system of passageways that allows getting from Buckingham Palace to Clarence House, as well as the House of Parliament. This system serves for security purposes, obviously. But I wonder if the Queen ever used it just because she didn't feel like using a car to get to those places. Maybe they have a golf cart that runs
every
around.
once in a while, switch it up.
Number 9.
Yeah, I guess in any, like the White House or any big government building, it's going to have, especially, just think of, it's probably way more vast than people think, because when they're getting bombed in World War II like crazy, I mean, you had those tunnels everywhere, and they're probably expanding them more and more. And now there's probably an intricate network of underground tunnels and stuff that people have no idea about.
It wasn't originally built for kings and queens. Now this one might surprise you, but before the palace turned into the building we know it as today, it was just a 3-story blockhouse owned by John Sheffield, the Duke of Buckingham. In 1761, King George III decided to buy it for £21,000, which is now around $5 million, which is still a steal, and started the process of transforming the estate into a magnificent sanctuary for his wife, Queen Charlotte. However, the first monarch who named it as their official residence was Queen Victoria. She did it after her coronation in 1837.
Wow.
Number 8. Unexpected
Where'd they live before that? It was just, if you know or if you lived there, where before did the kings and queens or the royalty live before they moved, before Queen Victoria moved in here? Is there somewhere else that they would live? Like some other palace, I guess. Because I know they have lots of places around England, but just like a certain palace that they would all live at.
Visitor. During the long history of Buckingham Palace, there were a few cases of ordinary people sneaking inside. In 1838, a 14-year-old Edward Jones made his first successful attempt to get in there. He was caught, and it turned out that the boy stole some items from Queen Victoria's wardrobe.
Wow.
A few years later, he did it again 2 more times. During the last time, he was found hiding under a sofa and got arrested. Number 7. Is anybody home? If you ever visit London and find yourself near the palace, you can find out in no time if the Queen is at home. When she's there, the Royal Standard flag is flown over her residence, and when Her Majesty is out, the Union flag. Every time the Queen arrives or departs, a special person called a flag sergeant changes the flags.
I guess I was there
Number
when
6,
she was not there.
TikToks
Then.
everywhere. As you can guess, the Queen and all other members of the royal family have a pretty packed-up schedule. That's why it's so important for them to know the right time in order not to be late. This most likely explains the number of clocks in Buckingham Palace, over 350. And there's even a special person to look after them, a clock master, whose duty is to wind them all up every week.
Ooh.
And boy, he better not be late.
Isn't there a new
Number
technology
5,
that you don't
the
need
number
that?
of visitors. Obviously, when you're the Queen, you just have to host a lot of events and functions. More than 50,000 guests visit Buckingham Palace every year. Just one typical garden party hosts around 8,000 guests. To feed them all, the staff has to serve 27,000 cups of tea, 20,000 sandwiches, and 20,000 slices of cake. Wait, let's pencil that out.
That sounds good. All of that sounds great.
Carry the 3. So, each guest receives 3.5 cups of tea and 2.5 sandwiches and pieces of cake. Well, you won't go away hungry. 4. Tours for ordinary people.
Invite me.
If you doubt the Queen will
me.
invite you to one of her parties anytime soon, you can always take a tour of Buckingham Palace.
There we
Usually
go.
visitors are allowed only for a couple months a year, from the end of July to September, because this is the time when the Queen is away. How convenient. However, there's another way for you to...
More shots that I like. Yeah, I want to go on a tour of Buckingham Palace. And what'd they say, 700 and something rooms in there? Woo. It is huge, though. When you're standing in the front, it's a really, really big building. And it just goes so far back.
To see what this splendid building hides. You can take a 360-degree tour online and check out the throne room, picture gallery, and ballrooms without leaving your home.
Yes.
I'm thinking the 78 bathrooms aren't on the tour. Number 3. Oldest helicopter pad in London.
I know what I'm doing after this.
Well, kind of. In 1953, a helicopter landed in the palace garden for the first time, and since then, that spot served as a helicopter landing area without any special construction for many years. But in 2000, the royal family finally decided to build an official helipad because they'd had enough of the lawn being destroyed by the helicopter. The helipad was created from a layer of matting underneath grass, because a concrete one was considered not pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, not very nice.
Number 2. Not a crumb goes to waste. Sitting at work and
That's
can't
good.
wait to get home and eat those pizza leftovers from yesterday? Well, the royal family does pretty much the same thing. Of course, they employ the best chefs who cook delicious meals for them and the guests every day. But if there were leftovers from a meal, they'd be stored away in a fridge and reused in a meal the following day. Number 1.
That's good.
Birth
that
announcement.
They don't just chuck it all.
As you probably know, England is known for its love of traditions. And even though we're living in
Yes.
the digital era, when the news from all over the world fits on your smartphone, the royal family still follows a really old custom. When there's a royal birth, they place an official announcement outside the main entrance of the palace to let everybody know if it's a boy or a girl, and the weight of the newborn as well. So,
I like that. I
which
like
of
that.
those
I mean, I like those. I think we're done.
secrets
here.
impressed you the most?
Wow, that is terrifying. Those traditions like that, just to
Of
show
the newborn as well.
these things,
So-
and they don't fix it. They don't update it to just getting it on your cell phone or anything. Let me know what facts, if you could add any, that'd be fantastic. I loved it here. I loved it in England. I loved seeing Buckingham Palace and everything else around there. We just roamed around. We didn't have a car or anything, but we just took the tube. Is that what you call it there? I feel like every country calls it something different. The subway, the tube, everywhere we needed to be, and then we just walked a lot of walking just into the city and on the Thames and everywhere. So I loved it. Let me know if you've ever been inside of Buckingham Palace. I know what I want to do next time. I'm planning a trip in a couple years, maybe like a year or two, to go back, thinking about like England and France, but could change. But this would definitely be on my to-do list to go inside and see a tour if possible. So let me know if you have any more facts, any comments, and if you've been inside or any tips of how to get inside, if there's any tips to do that. So until next time, thanks for watching. Keep on learning, keep on traveling, and have a good rest of your day.